Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Space Game Junkie Podcast. I, as always, am your co-host, Brian, and joining me, as always, is your co-host, Jim.
Hey, remember how they had Godzilla, and then he had his little kid, Godzuki?
Godzuki, yes.
It's Godzuki!
Oh, my God.
Right. Technically, his name was Minya, but we won't get into that. But I was just thinking, like, Rodin, you could have, like, a little one called Rodina.
Love it.
Also joining us is your co-host, Spaz.
Hello.
And your co-host, Hunter.
It's Godzuki.
That's that. I'm just gonna title that. That's the title of the episode now. It's Kazuki in all capitals with like 18 exclamation points. No one will be confused now as to what we're talking about. That's good. That's what they do with Greatest Generation. They pick their titles at random when they talk through the episode, which is really funny.
Many shows do, yes.
Folks, we have a guest this week who showed up on time. Thank you. Joining, I'm sorry, I'm still a little salty. Joining us this week from Portland, Oregon, first time back in 5 fucking years, is Brendan Anthony, the owner of Elliptic Games, to talk about Rodina. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Brendan.
It's great to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you back. 5 years. I'm so sorry I haven't asked you sooner. It's like usually something triggers an invite, like a game is about to be released or something. But your game came out in early access in what, 2014?
It originally came out. It was originally released in 2013. So it's been.
Oh, jeez, 6 years.
Yeah, it's crazy. Just had 5 year anniversary.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that long. Like when I think about like the last time we spoke, to think that was 6 years ago makes me feel super old. But but here I am, still trucking along.
Yeah, so I apologize for not inviting you back sooner, but we'll try and fix that as things go on. But folks, if you're unaware, Rodina is this massive explorational combat first-person shooter, and apparently now space bike game. It's got break it down for us, Brent. How many things are in the system? You have thousands of minor asteroids, major asteroids, planets. What are we talking about here in a typical system?
Yeah, so the solar system is pretty much full size. It's got 45,000 asteroids in it, I think. Yeah, you've got 4 big planets. They're all Earth-sized, or approximately Earth-sized. And as of recently, the past couple of years, I've been working on interiors, procedurally generated interiors. So I've got, I don't even know how many, a few hundred different procedural alien bases, and
your ship has definitely gotten some design improvement interior wise.
Yeah, it's been upgraded over time. I'm hoping soon this year to move into the shipboarding set of features, which is what I've been aiming towards for the past couple of years, is making sure that you can have a whole like first-person shooter experience by, capturing an enemy ship and running in and taking it over. And I'm going to be redoing all the ships at that point too. So got a lot ahead of me, but it's come a long way.
Does the interior stuff matter at this point? Because I stripped my ship out, and basically you go in the airlock, and I've got the command console right there.
Yeah,
I was surprised I could still fly because I didn't have an engine.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't really have much of an effect right now. The decoration stuff is mostly just for like creativity and making your ship yours. Although I have been playing some Subnautica recently in preparation for potentially adding base construction in the next update, and I'm getting that kind of itch to make all the things work and finally be able to flush the toilet, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I want I need a stereo quadraphonic that plays Barry White music, and I need a big heart-shaped bed.
Your wish is my command. Yeah.
All right.
I just want.
Can I get procedurally generated eggs and?
I would like a boombox with the 1986 Transformers the movie soundtrack in it, please. That would be my ideal companion on a long journey.
Because you can never have enough Stan Bush.
No, never enough stand. Fuck.
Didn't they add a Easter egg to there was some Bumblebee movie that just came out? I think they included the old music from the old movies.
It makes a tiny bit of an appearance.
They did.
In the movie. Yeah, it does. It does make
Soundwave actually sounded like Soundwave again, which was nice,
right.
even though he's only in the beat.
Yeah, it was real nice. But yeah, you hear like you got the touch for like half a second. You're like, oh my god, that's great.
Is that like he's flipping through radio stations and it's like, you got the.
I think so. I only saw it the once, but I think so. I think it's something like that.
Because it's like it's fair use if they didn't play more than 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Right? So,
right.
Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty much something like that.
To be honest with you, I honestly felt like, and no joke, I honestly felt like the Bumblebee movie was probably the best Transformers movie we've gotten since the first one.
I agree.
Yeah, that's what they say. I mean, they brought
totally
it back to the old look. It's a lot more classic, right?
Yeah, it's G1, definitely G1. And
did they roll
written.
Bumblebee back into being a Volkswagen?
This is and this is basically a reboot of the entire movie franchise.
Oh well, that shit's back on my radar then because I thought it was just more of that.
No.
Pretty much they're treating this like none of the other movies happened.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I saw that news about the music tie-in, and I forgot it was in the original. And I was like, wait, isn't that song from Boogie Nights? It's the one that.
No, yeah, that's probably where a lot of people know it from. Yeah. I was not expecting that in Boogie Nights, so when I heard him singing that, I was on the floor. I was like, no way! Oh my god!
Yeah, Boogie Nights will always have a special place in my heart because it was my introduction to Julianne.
Oh. Sure.
So anyway, I gotta ask you. I gotta ask you about some of your design stuff here.
Okay.
So originally, when you were inside the ship, you could not see outside of the ship.
Oh yeah.
But then magically, there was an awesome update that added like this huge view screen right in front of you. But I was surprised to find out that wasn't the front of the ship. That's just like you're on the bridge of the Enterprise and there's just a screen there.
That is the magic of television.
Right. Well, one of the things though I wanted to know is like, how did you get it to do that? Is that some kind of like a mirroring effect? Like, because I was really intrigued with.
Yeah, it uses the stencil buffer, which is I think is what they often use for mirrors. But yeah, basically what happens is depending on the room you're in, you can add these holo screens to any room. So there are a lot of people have redesigned their ships, and some of the ships have like entire rooms that are nothing but holo screens. So you walk in and it's just like you can see everything around you. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, basically if there's a holo screen in the room you're in, or I actually do room portal rendering. Using this technique too, so it'll just render the outside. Technically, it first renders the portal to the stencil buffer, and then it'll render the outside or the next room beyond you. But it'll only render the stuff inside the stencil buffer, and then after it does that, it draws the room you're in. So, it can. It's pretty cool. It's pretty seamless, actually. It's kind of a neat experience to be walking around the middle of your ship and to be able to sort of have an observation room. I was inspired to do that from of all places, Battlestar Galactica, because in that show what was it called, the CIC or the bridge was it was in the middle of the ship, which it would be because if you have a combat ship, it's not you're not gonna put a big old glass.
Oh my god!
Dome over the top.
Oh,
we had this
discussion.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So anyway, but that was kind of the thinking of behind that was maybe you should be able to see out from anywhere. So
I just like that because it when I realized how you I didn't really fully realize, but when I started thinking about how you, because I'm intrigued by design when I see some cool things implemented, and that was a really cool thing that you did. So,
right on. Thank you. Yeah, it's fun, and people really liked it. Like I said, there are hollow screen items in the game, but there's also a hollow screen tile set for the interiors, and it's just people do all kinds of stuff that look really cool.
So let me.
So
ask
is this a homebrew engine, or is this?
Like which because back in 2011 when I started this thing, I mean, obviously game engines have always been around, but it wasn't like Unity wasn't quite as universal. It wasn't quite as stupid to do.
2011, it was like still EGA graphics. And
right, exactly. Way back.
I think I'm pretty sure, at least for me, you're the first game that, for me, fully realized planetary interaction and space travel.
Hey, thanks, man. That means a ton. I mean, that's what I was going for. When I first started it, you guys, I'm sure, know about the Infinity engine, the Infinity Quest for Earth. It used to be called. Now it's Infinity Battlescape. Yeah. So back then, I had seen all these demos of these planet, seamless planets, but nobody had made a game out of it. And I thought, this is crazy. If it's possible, somebody should do it. So that was kind of the whole idea behind it. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Infinity Battlescape was they'd been working on that for at least 10 years.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't want to, back when I started it, they were sort of joked as being vaporware, like way back then. So yeah, I mean, they've been around a long time.
Yeah. They seem to have picked things up again, though. I think they're pretty strong going at it now. But
oh yeah, for sure. And it's the same thing with with Star Citizen. It's like they're going for a really high fidelity look. So I'm not.
You say they're going for it. I don't know if that's what'll happen. But.
Right.
But yeah, no. Like, would you, to your knowledge, are you the first to like fully implement this in like an actual playable?
I mean, that's what I say. I when I first released it, sort of my marketing line was it was the first seamless space game in that way, like fully immersive and seamless. And I had a bunch of people push back on it, and I guess I can't remember. There were a number. I mean, I guess Elite 2 had.
I'm gonna be the asshole here, and Elite 2 and 3 did that, and the Evercron games have done that. That's it, though.
But as far as I understand, in Elite 2, you couldn't get out of your ship and walk around. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but
that is true.
So that was kind of my, like, you could walk onto a ship into the interior seamlessly, then take out
that is accurate.
Atmosphere, land, and walk around again.
That is accurate. And with Evercron, you could get out of your ship in like the fourth game. So
right.
So I just got to be a little pedantic because that's kind of my
thing. Sure.
But, your game, I think, has the best implementation of this sort of thing, where you can just land, get out, run around, get back in, and go.
Sure.
And the last time I haven't played much until recently, and these first-person shooter elements. God damn. I want to get to that in a second, but I want to ask something about those screens that you guys were talking about a second ago. Do those only view forward, or can you have them look back?
No, you can have them forward, back, up, down. Like I said, some people paint their whole rooms in them. So
okay, I want to see if I can make one that goes back. So try and dock at that. There's I don't know if you saw my video, but there's like a thing that's like half an asteroid or something with a docking thing in it. With an airlock in it, and I'm like, how the hell do I get to that? And so I was trying to back into it, and I'm like, boink, boink, boink. I'm not doing it.
No, that's actually there's no docking mechanism right now. So what you have to do is you have to go out into the cold of space and jet back over, which is a little bit intimidating.
I don't know if I can do that. I want to do that because that's really awesome that you can, but I don't know if I want to because I have a terrifying.
Brian still plays Alien Isolation with the light.
Yeah, no, I have a terrifying fear of heights, and that's just no.
Let me just get on my red shirt and
Yeah.
Bring me my red shirt.
Like I was playing Titanfall 2 last night. I don't know if you guys have played the campaign, but there's a part where you're running through this factory where all these pieces are moving around and changing, and at one point you have to run over these really thin, like actuator arms over like a bottomless chasm.
Oh God.
And you have to jump like just right to get onto like 3 of them to get to where you have to go. It's like, my wife was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" I'm like, "Just come look, you'll see." She's like, "Oh, I get it." So I don't know if I could do that, man. I need some kind of umbilical. You got to give me some kind of docking collar or something.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm working up to having like a big set of features, of a set of updates around shipboarding. So we'll have to have something for guys like you.
Yeah,
maybe a grappling attachment, so you can, instead of not necessarily docking, but a grappling attachment, so that if you have to jump, then you can, within say 100-meter range, get yourself to it.
Right. Yeah, I think we'll probably have that. Something like that for both the player and the ship, like some sort of magnetic, almost like like a grapple hook or something,
that sounds great.
or tractor beam. But
if you want to look at a good implementation of that, there's a game called Adios Amigos that has been.
I heard you mentioning that on. I was listening to I think a retrospective update or one of your recent podcasts. Anyway, I hear that's a good one. Adios Amigos.
Yes, it's so good.
Yeah,
it's
very good,
so good. But that's a great example of a good use of a grappling hook. I did want to ask you something else. If this isn't in the game, can you add it? Is there a way to completely stop the ship from moving, like some kind of break? Because there isn't. Oh my God. Okay, because I was trying to dock with that thing that was floating in space with the airlock, and I could not get my ship to stop exactly. It's like, no.
Yeah. Well, so this is on a list of things. Landing legs are another that everybody, like I've had landing legs requested so many times.
Oh, really?
And you can see why, because if people land in the game on like a mountain and it's not quite even, they will, like, the ship will just tumble, and so
it'll just tumble
ridiculous.
And fall. It'll just fall down a hill like a person.
It'll slide. Yeah, I love it. That's the thing. I think it's hilarious. But so I think probably what I'll do is, like I said, eventually I'm going to start adding like upgrades to the ship and everything. So there will be a cost to pay for your braking button. But
so you're saying it's DLC?
That's right. Yeah, it costs to me directly, cash money.
Yeah, that was like my one. Now, there are a couple of the control things I do like. Like, I like how the faster you go, the harder it is to control your ship. Like, when you're... I was
actually getting ready to say, when you go to hyperspace or hyperspeed in the
laminal
gear,
the laminal drive.
I feel like Spaceballs was like, "You idiot, we passed them. Stop this thing." Like, that's how I felt the first time. I was like, "Shit."
Yeah. Well, that's kind of one of the things that I really wanted the game to tap into was the physicality of games, like where you really feel in touch with the player and you feel like you can control it, and that it's that you have to have control over. And I really wanted that to be there for the ship, where it was easy to sort of get out of control, and it was your job to bring it back. And,
you really have to pay. This is not a point and click I mean, this is very skill based, which I like. Like, because the last time I played it, you didn't have targeting, so thank you for adding that for one. Yeah, because holy shit, that makes getting to any asteroid or planet so much easier.
Totally, that was necessary. Yeah,
but the fact that when you fly faster, your ship is harder to control, I actually like that. I was gonna say I like that a lot. Because it makes it much more like much more involved. It's just like, oh, I'm just gonna sit here and check out a podcast while I fly to this planet that's 78 light seconds away or whatever. But no, you have to be like, nope, go back that way, you son of a bitch. Nope. So
yeah, I was watching another one of your videos recently. It was the one where you got a new rig and you were trying out Star Citizen, and I haven't played Star Citizen yet. I probably should, but I was kind of laughing. I mean, for research, I'll claim it on my taxes.
Okay, all right, yeah.
That's amazing.
But I was watching, and you were warping somewhere, and it was like a minute and a half of just sitting there. And I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's like, okay, go, and you're just like, all right, I'm just gonna look at my phone and just look up every 3 seconds. But with this game, you're like, it's really great, actually. I really like that.
Yeah, I find it's a bit of a acquired taste. I do get occasionally negative reviews where they're just like, yeah, the controls are too hard, and I get that. But I've also seen people come back and change their review later and be like, okay, I tried it some more, and I actually really miss it in other games now. Like I like having that level of control. So it's not for everybody, but I just really like it.
Yeah, the gear shifting mechanic is very intriguing. In fact, another game seems to have stolen it. Interstellar Rift uses
no way.
Yeah, they use a very similar shift.
Just about to mention it.
Yeah, shift up and shift down mechanic, which it's a tiny bit different than your game, but it's still there. It's like, oh, this reminds me of Rodina. Yeah.
Can you put in support for my Thrustmaster H pattern shifter?
Oh my god!
Because really,
gotta hit that clutch.
Yeah.
My god! Yes, the clutch.
Yeah. Got a double shift.
Yeah, and if you lug out, then you can actually stall the ship.
Oh my god! No way.
Oh my god, dude! You should have the ability to stall out. Oh my god!
Yeah,
Can you brake as well and get some drifting going? Like Tokyo drift around an asteroid?
Totally, yeah.
Vin Diesel shows up at the end? Yeah, great.
Wouldn't that be Tycho drift?
It's the USS Toronto. For all those weeboos out there.
So tell us about the engine. You said this is your own engine, and you have tens of thousands of objects that, if it looks like to me, it's all real time. Like, it doesn't look like anything is rendered as you pop in. It looks like it's all like there. Like,
well, some of the it really depends. The asteroids, they do get generated as you. There isn't a ton of LOD in the game, but I do try to only run things once you can like conceivably see them. So like once you get to the asteroid belt, there are large asteroids that are persistent, and of course the planets are persistent because you want to see them, going around the star. But but once you get to the asteroid belt, then it generates like the many smaller asteroids.
Okay.
And same when you get to a planet, and it's got to generate all the ships and all that. But
I'll tell you what. Then I didn't notice any pause or any stutter or anything like that.
That's great to hear. Yeah, I try to. It's tough because I don't have, like most games, they would have a period where they just work on optimization for a couple months, and obviously I don't have that ability. So the more and more stuff I add, I always worry that I'm just adding more hitches and slowdowns to the game. So I'm glad you're having a good experience.
Yeah, no, I mean, this ran great on my last rig, which was an i9. But I just got a new one and it runs great on this one too.
Great. Well, I made it. It's meant to be pretty lightweight. I'm a little bit worried because my next update is going to be improving the planet renderer and the planet generator, which I haven't touched in a long time. And I'm thinking I want to really, really like address the textures and add rocks and things. I really want to kind of bring it up to the level that other space games are at. You think about like Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen and all of those. I want to get a little closer to that. So I'm a little bit worried that all the people on like old crappy laptops who are loving my game because it's sort of the lo-fi space game. I'm a little bit worried I'm going to leave them behind. I hope I'll be able to find a middle ground, but up until now,
come back in like 10 years, it'll be No Man's Sky with weird dinosaurs running around.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you could throw that onto a beta branch, let people opt into it, and then once you've done that, they can sort of test it and see whether or not it's going to work for them.
Totally. I've really benefited from the community. Like there's so many people that have helped out with testing, and every time I do an update, people let me know what the bugs are, and I usually get a patch. It's great that they're always there for me.
Yeah, you've been in early access for, as we said, quite some time, and how has that been working out for you? Because there are a lot of good and bad in early access, but for the most part, it seems like your community has been really supportive and positive.
Yeah, they are. I work really hard because obviously, early access has a bit of a reputation, and people are worried about not getting the game that they were promised, and all of that. So I work really hard to do that. I actually, one of the reasons that it's like progress in the game isn't faster than it is customer service takes a lot more effort than I thought it would, like before I released the game. Like there's just a lot of time involved and making sure that everybody, because, I remember that experience. I remember the first time when I was a kid, when I felt like I like made a purchase and I got screwed, and just that feeling, it bothered me so much. And I just really want to avoid that. So, I obviously that's I have a demo, and I'm really active in the forums, and anytime someone has a question. So I think that helps the early access thing quite a bit. And the other thing is I really try to emphasize, like on the store and the marketing stuff, that I'm a single developer. This is not. It used to be indie meant that, like, if you were an indie developer, it meant that you were, or people. But now, now it's a lot different. So I really have to like go overboard to make sure that they understand, like, yes, I'm a single developer, and this is not it's a commercial project, but it's not it's not a corporate thing. So and I think I get a pass on early access from a lot of people.
Are you working on this full time?
I am. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Now,
it's very, very lucky.
Now, folks don't like, you have a pretty interesting lineage even before Rodina. I don't know if folks are listening to the last show. So let's talk about your background.
Sure.
What else did you work on before Rodina?
Well, right out of college, my first job was at Bethesda. So I was a huge fan of Morrowind and Daggerfall. And actually, it's funny, I had a fan website for Morrowind before it came out, and I was like the biggest fan. So when I was hired, they were all like afraid of me. They thought I was going to be like a crazy person. So that was good. I was not a crazy person, but I came in time to work on Oblivion. So I did gameplay programming on Oblivion, and then Fallout 3. And then I left to come out to Portland and I did mobile games for a while, and that was great. And then I've been doing Rodina since 2012. So.
And I got to say, your aspiration to have Daggerfall in space is, like, to me, the best thing, because to me, that's still the best Elder Scrolls game.
Oh, yeah, I love it. To me, I understand why they stopped doing procedural generation, and Morrowind was amazing. But I remember the experience of looking at the map in Daggerfall and seeing all of these provinces, and then you click on a province, and in the province, there's like dozens of cities and dozens of different, and you're just like, I can't believe it. I can't believe that it's just so big. And to me, they got dinged a lot because every place looked the same, and that's totally legitimate.
But it's 1996, though. I mean,
oh, totally. And for me, it kind of gave a different experience of playing games. It felt so much more immersive to have it be that open, and that's kind of what I'm going for, is to give that sort of ultimate immersive space.
I think it's still one of the biggest game worlds of its type. Like, period. I think there are only a few games.
So. Yeah, have you seen the Unity update project for Daggerfall?
Oh, it's great.
I have, yeah.
It's so great.
Yeah, it looks great.
Oh, it runs great too. And then when you hear those sounds, like the door opening,
Yeah.
It's really funny. We've been watching Midsummer Murders, which is a British murder mystery show, and they use that exact same door opening sound in some of their like creepier moments. You're like, oh my god, that's Daggerfall!
It's Daggerfall.
Oh
I hear the Daggerfall horse symphony.
Oh my god!
Every time
all the time.
The show.
All the time. Oh my god.
Well, I actually I found out recently the Doom door sounds. You know, that classic Doom sound. Yeah. It came from an audio pack. Like straight from an audio pack. So I think I might put it as an Easter egg somewhere in Rodina. I don't know.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Now, since we've had you on the show, a lot has changed in the game. So let's see if we can give a basic like bullet point rundown. You've added. Okay, so I'm gonna just do. Okay, so first person shooter combat. Space bicycles, which I haven't seen yet. Some kind of hover bike thing.
Right.
Hover bike.
Yeah,
thing?
grav bikes they're called. Yeah,
grav bikes. I haven't seen that yet.
You should license that the bicycle song from Queen.
I want
bicycle.
Grav cycle.
Yes,
it actually still works.
Yeah. Oh, and then you don't have to pay royalties.
There you go.
Sweet.
It's a parody.
Beautiful.
It's like Weird Al.
Rodina, it's a game. It's a cover band.
Yeah, exactly.
So and you've added the Xeno mines.
Yeah, the Xeno mines and Xeno bases now. They're pretty. I've actually started doing all the art myself, which is extremely fun and get a lot easier to get to the get my vision.
Castle Grayskull over here.
Yeah, it's a big gaping maw.
Oh my god, yeah. I haven't seen the base though. Is the base like is a Xeno base like an even bigger version?
Yeah, it's sort of ziggurat looking from the outside, and then you go in and it's all hazy and a little more Xeno technology around.
And so the base. Sorry, and so the bases. Where are the bases? Are they on the planets or the major asteroids? Or
yeah, they're only on the planets right now.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, flying to a planet is. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no! I was. Please go ahead.
I was gonna say flying to a planet is scary because you fly to an asteroid and you're like, there's just one guy. I can take him out. There's a Xeno mine. I'll just dive in there. You fly to a planet. There's like, oh look, there's 1 million red dots. And they all want to kill me.
Or you burn up in the atmosphere before you get there.
Yeah, Planetary Landing is a fun trick.
Scary.
It's a fun trick. I like it. Now I did want to ask you something about Planetary Landing. We're bouncing all over the place, folks. Hope you don't mind.
Sure.
Yeah. But I tried to land this planet Morena.
Yeah.
Is that named after Morena Baccarin from Firefly?
Why not?
Okay, and
no, they're all named after Slavic deities.
Oh, well, maybe that's what Morena Baccarin is named after.
Yeah, maybe there's a whole Slavic pantheon that have been underused for play.
Well, there you go. But there was like some kind of extreme chill that was causing damage.
Yeah, that's a story thing. So basically, in the story, because the game even 6 years in is still relatively light, and so the story is basically you go from planet to planet, and that's sort of a gatekeeping mechanism. You need to find the right tool to open up.
That's what I was wondering. Is there like a thing you have to find? But you find you find clues as to where to get those things, right? Because you find all these bits of data and stuff around the asteroids and whatnot.
Yeah, basically there's a radio on your ship. So for the listeners, the story of the game is you wake up on an asteroid and you don't know who you are. You don't know why you're there. It's just you just sort of wake up and you find this ship and you are contacted by this huge generation ship, a colony ship called Rodina. And they inform you that you were part of a Vanguard mission that had been sent out by the Rodina to this planetary system in order to sort of pave the way, get things ready. But it was destroyed. So you're the last survivor of the Vanguard mission, and it's your job to kill the Xeno menace. Make way for your friends and make sure that everything's going to be safe for them. And they give you breadcrumbs. So you first start at this planet. And once you find what you need there, move to the next one. But over time, as you explore, you get a lot of the backstory, and you find out that things are not as they appear. So
yeah, and you find that through all these bits of data, these little robots, these little radio data sticks and things like that you find scattered about. So there are good reasons to check out varied asteroids and the major asteroids. It's not just like, oh, look, there's another one. No, there are actually reasons to go check out these different asteroids.
You've got to explore them to get the whole story of the game, which is it's optional because it's mostly done through text. It's a very reading heavy storyline. So it's all optional. That was something that the writer of Rodina is an old buddy of mine named Andrew Shore, and he originally had all these ideas for like, oh, well, we'll put a clue in the text so that they have to read it and they have to figure. I kind of rejected all that because not everyone plays a game to read. But also once I did that, it really freed him up to just write whatever, to like really tell a story and to not worry about whether the player is going to get it or if it's short enough. So I really recommend if you're a player of the game and you haven't read any of the stories, I really recommend it because they're really high quality stories. I'm really lucky that that I'm friends with such a good writer.
And I got to say, I like that you have the option. I don't know if this was for everything, but I like that there was an option to export part of a thing to a text file, so you can like. If you wanted to. I like that.
Right. Well, that was especially for the aliens. You find a few images that are sort of encrypted data, and so you need to export them to decrypt them because I don't have a way to do it in the game yet. So someone actually wrote a tool for it that allows you to do it. It's pretty cool.
Oh my god. Now maybe what you should do is though, like these story bits, because some of them can get very long. Maybe like export it to a PDF. So someone could read it on their phone.
I've thought about releasing at least a few of them, as just sort of so people can see what the game is all about. Because I've realized that stuff it's all hidden right now. You don't really get a feel for the stories until you play the game. I'd like to show that off a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe like release some of it as a prologue novella or something.
Right. But that's a good idea though. Yeah, putting it out as a PDF so people can read it on their phone, not read it. That's a great idea.
Yeah, because
one thing you could do.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Just gonna say one thing you could do is maybe as they get exported, it actually unlocks the PDF file or a series of PDF files, so you get more pages as you collect more data.
Totally.
And it just sort of expands until you have this cohesive story that you can read through from beginning to end.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how it works in the game right now. But it's like I said, if you're not into reading while your ship is flying, then it's a little bit of a side issue for some people. But
okay, so we have someone in the YouTube chat asking about the game. They want to know if there's crafting. I think you did mention base building, so we can talk about that a little more.
Yeah.
Ship building. I don't think there's ship building, but there's ship. You customize your own ship, and you can take over other ships. You said eventually, but there's
right. So since the beginning, the game has had interior design, so you can design the inside of your ship, and there is modding too. Like it's pretty easily moddable. So if you want to make a ship, that that's one thing. But
oh, nice.
So we recently did a community vote to figure out what the next thing I was going to work on was, and upgrading the planets was what people wanted. So that's what I'm doing. But part of that is going to be to think about like base construction and mining, sort of like survival game type features. And I don't know how much of that I'm going to get in, certainly in the short term, just because it's not really the focus of the game. But yeah, the plan is to be able to build, at the very least, buildings like your own little cities, sometime early this year. And then once I start doing the shipboarding features, which will come after that, I'll probably start that in the second half of the year. Once I do that, I need to completely redesign the ships, because they're those are like programmer art from when I first learned how to use Blender. So I've got to totally redo them and make them. I'm probably going to make them modular and give them turrets and different big old engine things that you can blow up and all that sort of stuff. So nice. When I do that, it's possible that I'll probably do the same thing for the player ship too. And I don't know exactly how much customization I'm going to have, but the goal will be, that you can, at least in theory, build your ship outside, inside, build buildings and all that stuff.
You can make
really make it your own. In an ideal world, like maybe another 4 years from now, I'll have all kinds of construction and build items and stuff. But that's in the future. That's not something I'm really thinking about right now.
Right now, you're focusing on you pretty much have the exploration gameplay down.
Right.
And that feels really solid. So now you're working on making the planets and major asteroids a bit prettier.
Yeah. It's funny, when I was first working on the game, I was so into the planet generation. It was so much fun to like tweak something and then to go back and all of a sudden, an entire planet is different. Like that was really satisfying. So, but I remember having to set it aside. I think in early 2012, I made like a tweet, or so I was just like, I can't do any more planet generation. Like I have to make the rest of the game, so I really set it aside and I haven't touched it in, like really 6 years. So, I'm excited to get back into it and see how much it can improve, because the planets I love them. I love how varied they are, and I love how every square mile of each planet is a little bit different, but they could look better, and I think I can make them look a lot better. So I'm excited.
They already look great. I mean, I've only seen the one Marina, but it was gorgeous. It was
thanks. I think
stunning.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I can definitely. Right now, I'm generating right now the planet normals just come from the mesh, and I want to generate the normal maps for the planets, which will get rid of a lot of the popping, particularly on Morena or like planets with like smaller, sharper features. That's going to look a lot better, and then I'm going to add better textures and some rocks and things. So I'm hoping it'll get even better.
That's awesome. So where do you find this grav bike? I'm insanely curious to try it now.
Oh yeah, that's in the Vanguard ruins. So the idea of those is that there are some they're sort of scattered mostly around the sun. If you look at the sun, you can see them. And they are scattered chunks of the ship that brought you to the system. And so you can it's the scary half asteroid that you couldn't dock. That's a Vanguard ruin. And so some of them have garages in them, and there are grav bikes there. So if you get in one, you are going to have to pilot it back through the vacuum of space. But once you do that, it's yours.
Oh wow. And that'll make traversal on a planet, especially a planet, a lot easier, I would think.
Oh yeah, they're pretty zippy.
Oh, I want one now.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, so I think the major addition for me since I played it last has been the first-person combat, and it feels like for a game that didn't have first-person combat when it started, it feels really good.
Oh, thank you.
Like I have to say, I'm very impressed.
Oh, dude, I appreciate it.
A lot better than Star Citizen.
That's gonna be my mod. It's funny.
Better than Star Citizen.
Yeah, right. Well, when I first let's see, I guess maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. First of all, like I think I was mentioning to you guys that I had to rush to release or to announce this game back in 2012 because Notch had announced a game that was very similar, and it totally freaked me out. And then that was sort of before this whole space game revolution happened with Elite and Star Citizen and No Man's Sky. And so each of those games as they've sort of risen and fallen, there was a period where I would get all of these reviews that said like, it's okay. We're, while we're waiting for No Man's Sky, it's pretty good.
Oh.
And then No Man's Sky came out, and all of a sudden it was better than No Man's Sky. So it's funny how now I'm starting to get reviews that are like, it's okay waiting for Star Citizen to play Rodina. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that all goes too.
Oh no, that's terrible, people.
Yeah.
God damn
I know. Yeah. But it's been very satisfying. I tell you, I think I was the person in the entire world who was thrilled when No Man's Sky did so badly. I was a little mean spirited, but that was a stressful time for me because, I even though they're very different levels, and nobody who cares about No Man's Sky even knows what Rodina is. It really did seem to me like a David and Goliath thing, So it was a heck of a roller coaster, that whole adventure.
Yeah. I mean, looking at it now, it's great. But
oh yeah, I hear it's good. I haven't tried it again, but I hear they really turned it around.
They really,
yeah. They had a bad launch, but
they really did.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it at launch, and I like it even more now because they've added so much stuff to it.
Yeah, good for them. Yeah. I don't remember why we started talking about Star Citizen. Oh, the first person combat. Yeah, you mentioned the combat. Yeah. Well, thank you. I like it. It's a little simple. But I like really fast paced Doom style combat. So
you nailed that.
Well, that's how it feels, and honestly, that's kind of why I like what you've got going on with this, because even though, yes, I get it that Star Citizen is technically still in alpha, whatever, but like when I can just play a game and enjoy myself, and then there's smooth transitions between the flying bits and the fighting bits and the exploration and the customization of my ship, and then soon base building, and soon shipboarding, and soon like all these other things. Like it's like you've almost done it properly, like where you implemented one feature at a time first, like a sane developer would do,
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot that Rodina's got going on that is very much well worth noting, and like.
Well, I appreciate that, man. It means a lot. It's because I'm working alone on it in my home office, and that's kind of that's what I'm trying to do. I figure every feature I add is like a layer, So if I get the first person combat in, and then it's pretty fun, and I really like it, and then I add base building on top of that, I feel like it's great when the features are each fun on their own, like it adds up to a more fun package, I think. But a lot of times my experience in games is like, if a game is like survival based and then the combat isn't that fun. So I kind of like, focusing on one thing at a time and really polishing it up. So anyway, thank you.
Yeah, you can kind of tell with this game, you've taken it's like the tortoise and the hare, basically, and you're definitely the tortoise. But I think that's fine, because like you can really tell that you've put a lot of thought and care into pretty much each element of this damn thing. And
it doesn't feel like feature creep.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like
right.
Like there's not a fucking fish tank in my ship for no fucking reason. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm still mad about that. But it's not useless crap.
Yeah, well, I only wish I had the time and the ability to add useless crap in. That would be. I look forward to that day when I can focus on useless stuff.
I mean, I already like that your ship, like off the bat, has a captain's quarters with a nice big bed and a toilet and a shower. That's just great. I like that. It's got quarters and stuff.
Well, I just remembered that when I was on last time, you asked me what my ship inspirations were, like what from science fiction, and I told you that it was the ship from Spaceballs. the RV that they fly around.
The Winnebago.
The Winnebago, yeah. And it was because just that whole feeling of like it's not just a spaceship, it's your home. I really like that feeling. So yeah, you got to have a big old bed in it.
Yeah, I've never toyed around with the interior of the ship because I haven't felt the need, but I really like that one it has, and because we all want games where we can walk around our ship, and the ship already has some character to it right off the bat, which I like. But I also like that it can defend itself pretty handily in a sitch in a pinch.
Yeah. I was thinking like the bed could serve a purpose if it was like how you saved the game or whatever. But then I thought, but he could be a real bastard by putting a typewriter on the desk, and then you had to get typewriter ribbons.
We could add zombies like Resident Evil.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got to ask. You made a comment earlier. Modding.
Yeah.
Explain.
Yeah, I mean, coming from Bethesda, it's modding is hugely important. It's a little bit harder for my game because it's been in early access so long. So the mods, they do get outdated pretty easily. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely a priority from the beginning to make sure that the game was moddable, and it's pretty simple now. There's a mods, excuse me. There's a mods folder, and you can just drop, unzip your mod directly to the folder to install it. I don't have Steam Workshop support right now because it's like you can't. It's not just like a button you can press in Steam. You actually have to implement it in the game, and I've just important things to do, but yeah, I don't know exactly how many mods, but there's at least a few dozen that have up on the Nexus, and it's great. It's always an honor too when anyone it's an honor that anybody plays the game, but the idea that they take the time to add to it it's fun.
Okay, so this is bringing up more questions. So you've developed this engine yourself.
Yeah.
So did you release mod tools for the game?
No, the scripts for the game are all public in the script folder, so anybody can go in and get and tweak things or override something. I did release the Blender plugin that I use, and that is in the scripts folder also. So it's possible. And on my website, I have like a zip file with all of the blend files for all the art in the game. So, if you want to see.
So if like maybe I was so inclined to want to like cruise around your game and say like a Star Destroyer, one could do so.
Definitely. I had somebody recently was doing an Enterprise, but I don't know if that ended up getting released, but I mean, that's basically the idea. I played, remember Star Trek Elite Force?
Yes.
We had
one of the guys who worked on Elite Force 2 on the show.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. I remember when they had, I think it was a expansion where you got to walk around, Voyager.
Voyager. Yeah.
There was a huge modding community for that game where essentially they dropped in the Enterprise D, the Enterprise E, awesome. Like all kinds of, and they essentially turned it into like a museum. So it was like, these mods were essentially museum pieces where you could just like walk around and tour different ships.
Even talking about the mod could get Paramount to show up and show us.
I know, right? Yeah. But playing that game was that was another inspiration. Just like I wanted more of that. I wanted to be able to fly the ship, just like we were walking around it. So yeah, that getting that whole immersive experience is the thing that's most important to me.
We have a couple questions from the YouTube chat, actually. So are there going to be what kind of customization is there for your ship? We already talked about the interiors, but are there going to be better weapons or better shields? I don't know if there are shields even, but sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so this was a this was part of one of the options in my recent update, or excuse me, in my recent vote. I had three options, and this had something to do with one of them, which is sort of more RPG features, like being able to upgrade your character and have an inventory, and to be able to install components onto your suit, and just upgrade your abilities. And the basic idea is I'm going to have sort of mirrored systems between the player and the ship. So at some point you will have like a ship inventory, and you'll be able to install components and upgrade, and it'll follow sort of a similar system. But that lost the vote, so I won't be doing that for at least another update or two.
Oh man!
But yeah, I think things like better shields. I mentioned before, like a magnetic grapple hook to, once you've destroyed a ship, to you want to grab a hold of it so you can jetpack over. Better cameras, turrets, things like that. I'm not sure how much of, I don't know how much. Like what direction I'm going to go in with the ship combat, because I need it to be a little bit more detailed and a little bit, there has to be more stuff to do in combat. You need to be able to, blow up the other ship's engine, or their, take out their cameras or whatever. And so, there's a lot more to do there, but I also want to keep it really, really physical. And so I probably, for instance, I wouldn't do things like, I don't want to have too many like automated firing systems, or I was thinking, I used to think with that you could release. I'm not certain I want to do that anymore, but I haven't made a decision either way. But because I like it being all under the player's control, and very physical feeling. So, but things like that, more abilities for your ship for sure are coming.
And the other question is, does this game intend to go multiplayer, or will it be quote unquote glorious single player?
I assume that there's a desired answer there. I think I'm focusing on single player right now, and I've been focusing on single player, since the game was started, and I'd like to do multiplayer, but I just don't have the time for it at the moment. Just focusing on like building the game out. But I will say that multiplayer is by far the most common request, and
maybe
yeah, for sure, yeah, exactly, and or even I'm a fan of maybe starting a dedicated server and having 20 people be able to join it, and that sort of thing. I'd like to do that, but I just don't have a plan for it. But
that'd be an awesome rendition of Doom, because you've got the first person shooter going. It's
totally.
We're gonna go fight it out on this planet.
Yeah, or even maybe like invade their ship, and I think there's a lot of potential for that. Really cool. Hopefully, I do say with this game, I kind of, my hope is that at some point that it takes off enough that I can be secure in working on it in the future, because I'd like to work on it forever if I could just keep adding more and more stuff to it. So it does mean that whenever anyone says like, well, what about this feature? I'm like, yes, maybe in the future, but not right now.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, this game is already really ambitious, and you're the only guy. You're the only guy working on it. So, I mean,
well, like you say, tortoise in the hare. I love working on it. I feel lucky every day, and the more I can just sort of keep chipping away at it, the happier I'll be.
Yeah, and you have been. It's been really just impressive to see this thing coming along, which
thanks,
I like. Yeah, I would like a mod that adds Serenity to the game. If that could be done, that would be my ideal. So, do you have any, like, you probably get asked this a lot, but like, do you have any inkling as to how long you plan to remain in early access? I mean, you probably don't, but I feel like I should ask.
Sure. Yeah. So I've mentioned that the current I have a roadmap on my website, which lays out sort of what I've been doing over the past couple of years, and the goal is to get this shipboarding thing done. And I think once that's done, I might come out of early access. But there's a lot of attendant things that would need to get. I mean, the game needs more progression and some more like big moments. It needs not necessarily like boss fights, but things like that that are a little more exciting.
Set pieces.
Yeah, set pieces. Yeah. And it needs more, like I said, progression and RPG stuff and things to pick up and inventory. So there's a lot to do. I would say I'm hoping to start the shipboarding stuff maybe this summer. I don't know, like maybe like Christmas 2020 might be like a reasonable time.
Yeah.
Everything always takes longer than you think. So, who knows? But that's kind of.
Now,
I would aim for the end of this year, but realistically, probably next year.
So you say shipboarding, and you mentioned something about destroyed ships. So does that mean when you kill a ship, because you can just kill a ship and then they just float off? Does that mean like now you'll have a reason to go after a ship you killed and grapple to it and maybe get?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, like
I mean,
I think
over
and get some salvage or something.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I to be honest with you, I don't exactly know what the loop is going to be yet, or what the reason is going to be. Like, why would you? Why would you invade rather than just blow the ship up? Or actually, the thing I think about even more is how do you know? Because right now, when you kill a ship in the game, you shoot it, and it just kind of lights on fire. And does that mean like, is it boardable at that stage? Is it going to be like when you get on board, it's going to be all in flames? And, I'm not sure. I think part of the reason why I'm thinking a lot about about redoing the ship combat is because I think we're going to need a lot more stuff like, you're going to need to distinguish between like disabling the weapons, disabling the engine versus just blowing the whole ship up.
Like ion cannons or something where you disable the thing. Yeah.
Right. But once you do, for sure, I mean, I'll figure out something to put on those ships. If nothing else, you're going to want to go there just to explore, because there will be like custom art and custom rooms and things. So.
Oh yeah. Once you give us that ability, we're gonna want to do it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What about cat girls? If you were rescuing cat girls,
that would do it probably. I think that would definitely.
They would help you build your base.
And they have 3 breasts, right?
Oh my god! I just watched Total Recall again with my partner for the first time in like 10 years, and I got to say that movie holds up. It was so cool, but I was very excited to show them the 3 best scene. That was a great moment.
We just watched Star Trek V.
That's where I was going with
which does not hold up.
Does that not hold up as well?
It didn't hold up when it was new.
Yeah.
But because some friends we know in a Facebook group were joking about it, and my wife's like, "Why haven't we watched that one?" I'm like, "Because it's awful." So we got.
But it also boasts a
cat woman with 3 breasts.
Lady with 3 breasts.
Oh I vaguely remember that. Any movie with three boobs is a movie for me. So that sounds all right.
Obligatory Eccentrica Columbus reference here.
Do they all have to be on the same person, or
well?
So
one here, one there.
So I wanted to ask, right now in Rodina, someone just drew 3 ASCII breasts in the Twitch chat. I don't know.
That's amazing, actually. That's pretty funny.
I didn't even know that was. Wow. Okay. I might, under normal circumstances, I might delete that, but I don't know.
That's actually pretty funny. Come on, that's funny.
I can't delete that. No, I was getting to. I cannot delete that. That's great. I'm sorry. That's funny as hell. That's so funny. Oh my god. No. Well done, Cathodore 2K. Well done. Now I was gonna ask. Right now in the solar system, when you fly around, it looks like you're the only ship that's like out there exploring between the asteroids, and like you find these Xenos that are flying around. But they like stick to their asteroid, or they stick to their planet. Will you eventually be adding like other NPC ships in the system, or are you trying to keep it like really isolated and really like desolate? You know?
Yeah. Well, so there's a couple things to say about that. First, that actually has bothered me for a long time, that the Xenos are all sort of parented to their planet, and there's no, my original idea was to, like the image of like seeing them travel between asteroids and explore, and then you could sort of hunt them down. I liked that idea. So I'll definitely expand that a little bit. As far as NPCs in general, there's some story that ties into the story. So there will be, after I get the base construction and simple cities in, at some point, there will be a way to start like NPC cities. And so you'll be able to found an NPC city, and NPCs will live there. And, my eventual goal is to build up to the point where it's a populated system. I want that experience of, it's not meant to be a game about isolation entirely. But that was kind of the way that the development path could mirror the story. You start off in a system that has nothing in it, but that's because the game has nothing in it, because I'm a single developer. As I go on and on, I want the story to eventually build up where there are cities, and you can, look around and it's a huge sprawling, metropolis. That's the idea. But the flip side of that is it'll only be if players want that to happen. A lot of players say they like the isolation and they like it. It's sort of a Metroid feel, where it's very lonely, and they don't. In fact, I recently, the third option on the vote that didn't get picked was creatures. I was going to add creatures to the game, and a lot of people were pretty resistant to that, because they wanted, they want the experience to be lonely. So, yeah.
Not even birds?
Well, yeah, they don't want anything. I was gonna, and I even teased that the creatures like might make it, because they would be sort of restricted to the Xeno areas. But I teased that they might make it out, so maybe you'd get like sandworm style, things. No. But yeah, no, nobody wanted it.
I would do that. The thing I was thinking of, like even in Evercron, there's like, you go down to a planet, there's little birds flying around every.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, you can't really interact with them. It's kind of more like just a visual element,
right? Yeah, I mean, I like the isolated feeling, but I want it to grow. I eventually want there to be more of that. So
what you got to do is you have to find a hedgehog army that's resisting the Xenos. Mutant alien hedgehogs that are fighting the Xenos on the ground. I don't know.
I do. I know Jim will be displeased. They are pretty much space shrimp. So Xenos.
Oh, God.
Well, they're not.
Pretty much.
They're
now, the
shrimp.
man listens to the podcast when he knows about my love of space shrimp.
When you're obsessed with something, it's easy to pick it up. So I did find out about your space shrimp hatred. There are the Xenos have some cool stuff. They've got sort of a cool culture. There's a few different factions. The one that you fight is called the Undying, and they back up their consciousness, and sort of they're very heavy on sacrificing themselves for the sake of their their ancestors, and then they just get reloaded into a new body, and there's kind of a very hierarchical structure to them. I'm really excited about the more I get to do more Xeno stuff with the bases and the ships. I'm excited to sort of flesh out their culture a little bit more, take them a little bit away from Space Shrimp.
And will you be able to learn about their culture as you go? Like, will you be able to find, say, artifacts or hack into a database or something?
Totally, yeah. Right now, if you do manage to decode the alien in the encrypted messages, that's like a little insight into what they're all about. But I'm going to do a lot more of that. Eventually, you're going to get new visors, new scopes, and one of them will be sort of give you the ability to scan things and get information about stuff, build up like an encyclopedia about the different things in the game, and that's a good opportunity for a little lore, and like you say, scanning artifacts and learning about them or decoding. I'd like to add a lot more sort of Xeno communications, so you can find out what they're saying to each other. I always like that when you can find that sort of thing in a game. So
yeah,
more of that, the better.
And maybe if you can intercept some of their radio transmissions, so it's like what the hell is that?
Yeah.
So we talked about we talked about customizing the inside of the ship, and now someone's wondering if you can customize the outside.
Yeah, no, not at all right now. Outside of my, but once I take a look at the shipboarding stuff, I'm going to have to totally redo the ship combat, like essentially from the ground up. And that'll include changing the ships, the way that they're constructed. Right now, they're just single models, but I want to move to a more modular system where you can imagine procedural ships or just ships with different variations. And I think when I do that, I'll probably do the same thing to your ship. And just give people, different options and allow them to sort of build it out a little bit. But no, that's one that people have wanted for a long time, but it's just hasn't been the right time yet. So hopefully soon.
Well, that's fair. I mean, you want to get the gameplay solid before you start before you add a way to make someone their own NASCAR ship or something. Whatever,
right. Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, it is moddable, but it is fun to do that stuff. So we'll see. It's not central, but because doing the inside of the ship is more important to me. But yeah, hopefully, maybe later this year, maybe early next one. We'll see.
And you said that eventually the toilets are going to work?
Yeah, that's like my shame. I put the toilets in like a good immersive sim. And the toilets don't flush, the shower doesn't run.
I have a request about the toilets. Next to the toilet, you need a button that you push, and then a drawer slides out that's got 3 seashells on it.
I think it's possible that we talked about this 6 years ago.
It is quite possible.
I would not be surprised.
They damn did it in Verde Station. I was dying.
In what? In what?
Verde Station.
What's that?
It's a space game.
Is it?
You run around on a space station, and the toilet you start in a bedroom, and adjacent to that is a bathroom, and you go in there. It has a working toilet and 3 seashells, and I was just like,
that's pretty great.
It's like, I see what you did. Yeah,
I love it.
It's weird how, just a side note, Demolition Man has come up like 3 or 4 times in various conversations with me in the last week. Like at random. Like, I don't understand it. Like, why are we all talking about Demolition Man suddenly?
It's amazing.
Have you been to Taco Bell today?
Here, check it out. It's in the stream chat. I
that's great. That's great.
I sort of collect pictures of toilets in games. I don't know why.
There aren't a lot of them. I'm hoping to
start a museum.
There aren't a lot of them. They're kind of rare.
Yeah, it's honestly, I think that maybe I need to start like one of those museum blogs. It'll be like Migman's like aviation museum. I'll just do like Alien Pickles Space Toilet Museum.
Why not? Or just video game toilets.
But look at the glorious seashells.
That's wonderful. He doesn't know about the 3 seashells. I don't think Nicole's seen that movie.
How do they work?
I think I recently saw a thing about how they work. I don't know if it was the director or the screenwriter. There's a diagram, and I have to say, you don't want to see it. It's very disappointing.
I've seen it, I think.
I don't. Okay, so it's better to stay in my mind than to actually.
It's better to imagine how the seatbelt cell. You don't want to. You don't want the illusion.
Okay.
It'll ruin the magic.
Exactly.
But yes, I do love Taco Bell, so I'm very happy that they survived the fast food wars.
Wasn't Arnold Schwarzenegger supposed to be the president in that reality or something?
Was he? Oh man,
I don't know. I don't remember.
I think that sounds about right.
That would have been great if they could have done that. That would have been like, I mean, that would have been a 90s trifecta. You got frickin' Stallone, you got Wesley Snipes, you got Dennis Leary, Sandra Bullock. Just fucking add Arnold. It's like
that was a great movie.
It's the 90th of 90s. It's already almost the 90th of 90s movies. It's like really up there.
Dennis Leary, right? You mentioned.
Yeah, Dennis Leary was like the resistance leader or something.
That's right.
Yeah, it had a really great cast actually, and I love how like I went to Comic-Con at one point. I'm like, wait a minute, because they filmed a lot of the exterior scenes at like the San Diego Convention Center because it looks all futuristic.
Oh, no kidding!
It looks all futuristic and shit. So I'm like, wait a minute, I've been there. San Diego, Jesus. Sorry, we could have a Demolition Day podcast all day because that movie is so.
This will be your
good.
new podcast, the Demolition Man podcast.
We'll just talk about Demolition Man every week. We'll find a new nugget of something in that.
How many episodes have you done? Isn't like it's in the hundreds, right? It's like 200 something.
This is 278.
Yeah, this is 278. Yeah, we have been doing this.
And I think.
Sorry.
No. I was just gonna say. I think when you had me on, I think I was.
You were
8 or something like that.
You were 14. You were 14. I think you were maybe 3rd or 4th guest.
But wasn't like your second guest Chris Roberts? Like you had Chris Roberts was one of your early ones.
Yeah, Chris Roberts was our second guest, and we will probably never have him on again. after all the things we've said about Star Citizen, on and off the show. But I probably wasn't going to invite him back. I mean, one, he doesn't need us at this point.
Right.
He's sitting on however many hundreds of millions of whale money. But
I put my analysis of Star Citizen toilets in there.
Is that fucking ones. Alf?
Yes.
Oh God.
Those are 2 mated gifts that go so well together. But
really
so basically, the more real world money you paid for the ship, the better the toilet is. You see the discount model in the middle there.
Oh God.
Oh, I see. So in the Aurora, you might not even have a toilet, but like on the Constellation,
it's sort of a dual purpose airlock.
What's that thing that squirts water?
Dude, a bidet is like a life changer.
It really is.
It's pretty incredible once you get it. Like, you ever try?
I've been trying to figure out. Okay, so the toilet, you don't have hot water coming to your toilet, right? So how do you get hot water in the bidet? Does the bidet have a heater? Or
who said anything about hot water? My bidet shoots ice cold water right into my butt.
Every bidet I've ever used.
It's refreshing.
Yeah, every bidet I've ever used is fucking ice water.
It's shocking and refreshing.
Yeah.
Like, woo! But like the first time I ever tried to use one, I wasn't sure where I was supposed to put myself. So I just got my butt wet.
We're just gonna hover this and see what happens.
But after a couple of attempts, they're like, "Oh, I get it." Bidets are great.
Yeah, it's one of those. It makes it hard to go back again.
I know.
Well, I didn't realize it was supposed to be cold water. I mean, like I would scream like James Brown if that hit.
Yeah. It's quite a powerful force too. I installed one and
oh, wow.
I turned it on and my then girlfriend was in the room, and I hit her in the face.
Oh no!
Welcome.
Oh, no.
Welcome to the Bidet Junkie Podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we've been tempted to get one. We've been tempted to get one for our apartment at some point because we really like them.
It'll change your life. Yeah.
I was wondering, like if you turn it up too high, I guess you could probably.
You could do some damage.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It at some point it changes from like a cleanse to like a cleanup.
Yeah, you want to be ginger.
It changes from a cleanse to a clinic visit is basically.
Yeah, it's like it also alleviates constipation.
Right. No.
Super Soaker 9000.
So hemorrhoids? No, bidet.
Sorry, folks. We go on tangents every now and again, and that might be one of the tangiest tangents we've ever. I don't think we've ever talked about bidets.
Well, that would be a Steam game, bidet mechanics.
Why not? There's a game.
Oh no!
It's
already in development. As soon as you said it, someone whipped out Unity.
Well, there is already Toilet Tycoon, so why not?
I'm looking up if there's a bidet game. Hang on. Nope.
Well, that's a lost opportunity.
Yeah, they should call it Today Is Your Bidet.
I shouldn't have laughed at that.
Hey,
it's a license to waste money.
Yeah.
I just keep watching this GIF of Alf like watching the toilet. It's hypnotic. Anyway, I've done enough damage now. We can return to the show.
Meanwhile, back on Space Game Junkie Podcast.
You should have the option to add a bidet to your ship in Rodina.
Yeah.
You already have the toilet.
Definitely.
We need a bidet. I mean, you're the captain. You own the ship.
That's some DLC.
At some point, we'll definitely get toilet customization in for sure.
Toilet armor DLC?
Yeah, right. Toilet armor.
Maybe that's how
with the squatty potty or without.
Alien snakes could invade the ship by crawling up through the toilet.
No.
This is not a horror game.
Oh God!
Not trying to scar anyone.
It's like that thing in The Good Place with butthole spiders. Oh God! Am I the only one here that watches The Good Place? Probably.
I can't say that I've seen the butthole spiders.
I have not decided. I think I've gone
now I need to make a point.
It's a joke in The Good Place, and it's a great joke. And
it sounds like the best place.
You should all watch The Good Place. Actually, no, the butthole spiders are a part of the bad place. It's one of the torturers.
That would be that's my new band name, the Butthole Spiders.
You know what? I bet you someone's taking it because that was like season 2 of the show. So hey, I'm gonna look it up. Oh, nothing yet.
5 people.
You might
5 people searching butthole spiders at the same time.
Butthole.com, buttholespiders.net, butthole spiders.
Shit, he took it off.
Damn it.
Yeah, there's already Butthole Surfers. You're right, Thanonator. That's a great name. Yeah, there's there. That's a classic, but Butthole Spiders. That's fabulous.
That's the name of the cover band.
Yeah, you should know.
Level.
On Cathode Ray 2K has the classic Simpsons encounter with the Japanese.
Oh my God. So one thing I would love to add also to your game is the option to like have an unobstructed first person view. Like right now when you have the first person view, you're like on the bridge and you're like on the left side or the right side. And I have a tough time flying like that, to be perfectly honest.
Oh my God, I've got it.
What?
Okay, so I'm in the bathroom.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna have the toilet. I'm gonna put the command console in front of it, and then the view screen right in front of that, and then I never have to leave the bathroom.
Amazing.
The toilet does act like a chair in the game, so you can sit down on it.
Hey,
great success.
You're not only are you piloting your ship, but you're ruling your kingdom all at once.
That's right.
It's a shame you can't have a view screen on the outside of the ship that shows your butt.
Ooh.
Yeah, can we get truck nuts for the ships? That would be great.
can tell we're very serious here on the space.
Man, you know what? That's it. We're modding in truck nuts for the ships.
Well, I'm a veteran of this podcast, so I knew what I was getting into.
That's true. That's true.
Although I will say, last time we had a whole conversation, and near the end, you mentioned that you were out of wine, and I was like, "Oh my god, we could have been drinking this whole time. I should have had wine." I was like, "Oh, that should be in your your notes."
I can't do that anymore. I live streamed Privateer 2 one night, and I hate that game. I fucking hate it.
It was glorious, by the way. I was there. It was glorious.
Yeah, you were there. So I took a bottle of tequila and a shot glass.
Oh no!
And I blacked out.
Oh no! While live streaming.
I will not do that again.
No!
My wife actually.
The video is not listed. You can't find it.
I will send it to you.
You're not going to be able to find it.
I will send it to you.
I'd like the link.
Yeah, I will send you the link. But my wife actually had to wrestle the tequila bottle away from me.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Please tell me that was on. That was live also.
I believe it was part of the live thing.
Oh, yeah. But you don't know because
I
don't remember.
I listened the next day. I listened to part of it, and I was like, "Oh no."
Yeah,
this is bad. This is really bad.
It was uploaded for a little while, and then he took it down because
because I didn't realize how bad it was. So yeah,
I like a drink. I think a drink in that public, especially. So were you attending? Was it like a drinking game? Was it like a take a shot every time the game does?
No, I just really fucking hate that game so much. I'm like, I don't want to play this sober. This game is so terrible. So I played it. Oh my god! I think when I black out, I tend to repeat the same things over and over again. And I have a joystick that I love, a Microsoft Sidewinder Force Feedback 2 classic, and I think I just kept repeating about how great it was, like over and over and over again. So even I will not touch anything while doing anything live. That is a terrible, terrible idea. But
you've learned your lesson.
If you want to get one, since then we have actually gotten a wine fridge, so we are never out of wine.
Right.
That is impossible because my wife is also in 2 wine clubs. So we're big wine fans here.
Yeah. So you'd be opening up a door you might not be able to close.
Yeah. Now I'm not like an alcoholic, but like. I love tequila, man. I love tequila.
An alcohol enthusiast, perhaps.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Yeah. I'm a fan of some types of alcohol. And that was like the 4th time I'd ever blacked out. And
oh man.
And it was bad. Don't ask for the link, people. You're not gonna get it. I'm just gonna send it to Brendan here. That's the only person who's getting it.
Oh,
you are special. You're special. You're going to be one of the only people who's ever seen it.
This is going to be something. I can't wait.
I'll find it right now.
There weren't many of us there at the time, and it's never going to happen again.
Nope. I think there are maybe 4 or 5 people watching because Privateer 2 is terrible, and most people hate it, as they should. And yeah, I was.
Wow.
It was, because I hate that game. I'm like, I'll just drink while I play it. I'll hate play it. It turned from funny to sad. It was just
right.
Well, sad.
Well, so you guys have to tell me, since you guys know, you guys sort of have the finger on the pulse of the space game ecosystem a lot more than I do. So what do I got to do to get some of that Star Citizen money? I made a joke on Twitter that I was going to start selling patches of land on the planets, and the Star Citizen fans did not like that. I got into some trouble for that one.
Oh,
there's no such thing as bad attention.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Because the Star Citizen had that thing for a while where you could buy patches on one of their planets. I don't know, like you could pre-order like a plot of land.
Right. A plot of land on a planet that doesn't even exist in the game yet.
It doesn't even exist yet. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I kind of poked fun at that on Twitter, and I got some, some fanboy attention for that. But
what?
But yeah, I figure there's got to be some scammer, some sort of underhanded tactic, get people to I don't know, buy a capital ship or something.
God, I think you're on a better path, honestly.
You think I'm searching for inspiration in the wrong direction, maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where if you've got a soul, you probably don't want to sell it off that way. Because you also end up selling any goodwill you have that went along with it.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay, no, Brendan, I just emailed you the link to the private video of me with Privateer 2 and Tequila. So enjoy
I only wish there was. Is there I'll have to look at it in a minute. But is there? Are you on video? Because that would be the thing.
Like, is there like a camera of me?
Oh, yeah.
No. I never do that. No one needs to see this. No one needs to see. I'm waving my hand over my face, and no one can see that because I have a camera. I got a camera with the new rig, and I've used it a couple of times, but I think it takes away from the game. I think.
Sure.
Yeah, I think when streamers stream with their face, I don't want to see the game. I don't want to see their stupid face. So
sure.
I think people should be. I mean, they should. If they want to listen to me as part of the game's soundtrack, that's fine. But like, I don't think my face helps. So no, there was no video. Which is probably a good thing.
That's a shame.
I'd have to argue that there are times when reactions, when they actually get caught live, are great. But that said, it depends on the streamer.
I guess that's true. Brendan, Jack Zoo on YouTube says that your game description page on Steam is not detailed enough.
Really?
People what they can to show. I'll read what he says. Game description page is not detailed enough to show what people can expect in the game. That's slightly marketing related, he says. So, that's something to think about.
Sure. I'll need to. Yeah, I'll need to think about that. What I can't see the chat right now. So, any idea like what? You just want more information?
Yeah, I think more would be good. I mean, right now it is a bit sparse.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough to know exactly what people want to see there because my assumption is that nobody reads anything, but
people
maybe,
do. People read bullet point. People read bullet point lists with feature list sets. They read quick descriptions. I gotta tell you, I think Paradox has been doing things right. I don't know if you've read like descriptions of some of their recent stuff lately, but like they have like an image. It's an image with text, but it's very captivating. It's like it's like some text, like procedural something with fire behind it. It's like ooh, So they really. There's not a lot you can do to spruce up a Steam page, but there are things you could do. So, like, I think right now you only have one image. You could probably add a few more of those, So.
I'll definitely look into it. No, I always appreciate feedback like this. It's tough when you're on your own. You don't.
Sure. Yeah. You're trying to focus on making a game. Like
exactly.
That's what we hear a lot from developers. Like when they start making a game, like I had no idea I'd be spending this much time on. Fill in the blank, marketing, customer service.
I mean, every one of those is. I remember when I first got into this whole part of my career, I suddenly like really appreciated game producers so much more. I mean, I had always, appreciated them as colleagues, but all of a sudden I realized all of this stuff that they do that I'd never even had to think about before, and. I mean, it's several full-time jobs all rolled into one for sure.
It really is. It really is. And I don't envy any developer, especially on Steam with like 800 games coming out every day.
Oh,
Like, how do you have any visibility? So, any little thing you can do to make your profile. I mean, you're already updating news, which is great. You're already making game updates regularly, which is great. So your game doesn't look stagnant. That's a mistake a lot of developers make. Like they don't up their game. They have no updates for like 6 months, even though they're probably working on their game. No one knows that. So it's like, the page hasn't been updated in 6 months. So someone goes to the page and it's like, people are complaining on the forum that it's abandoned. Like you look at the last like news date and it's like 6 months ago and you're like, oh, I don't want this now as news, but I'm just going to move on.
Yep. Yeah. And like you say, with like so many games coming, there's no reason to linger, you really get one chance to hook people. So
I got to say, one thing you have in your favor is you have a demo. A lot of people forget the power of the demo, like,
oh yeah. I mean, it's important to me, for mostly just, I don't want people to buy my game without knowing what they're getting. Then that's all there really is to it. I saw a talk once that that said that the data says that having a demo will cut your sales directly in half, that you will make double the money with no demo. And, like that's kind of a stark factoid. Yeah.
Because people will buy, but then they don't necessarily know what they're getting.
Right.
If they play the demo and they're sure of what they're getting, it may not be what they want, so they don't buy in the first place.
But aren't those better customers that buy after the demo? Aren't those like the
That's how I feel. I mean,
exactly.
So like on the one hand, yes, I'd love to have double the sales, but I also feel like my review rating is a lot higher because of the demo, because people get a chance to find out if they don't want it, and it means that the people who finally like go all the way to review the game, they're going to be a little bit more dedicated, a little bit more more likely to really enjoy it.
Exactly.
So what are your numbers like as far as comparing sales units of the game to downloads of the demo?
I actually don't know. I don't track the demo, just because I don't want to, I don't want to have it in my head that, I could have X more sales if I don't want to even think about that. So I don't know that number. I would say,
I think it would be interesting to know, just from the point of view of, even where it didn't close the sale.
Yeah.
But at least you had interest, that somebody clicked that button.
Right? Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But then again, downloading the demo doesn't even mean they're going to play it.
Right.
So you can't really judge based on how many people download it, even, because
do developers get feedback on how many hours players have put in?
Yeah. You get
playtime, because you could look at average playtime of the demo as well.
For sure.
And kind of get.
Oh, you can?
So yeah. I have gameplay questions. So the first thing, the weapon that you have on the ship, your laser thing, is kind of a shotgun thing, right? So can you upgrade that, or is that just
No, there are other weapons, but they're mostly, well, I'll say, so there's like a ring blaster that is a little bit more powerful, and there's an even more shotgunny blaster that's a lot bigger, and that's really good for taking out like big groups of small enemies. Mm-hmm. And then there's missiles. Missiles are really great because they can track enemies. If you're targeting a ship, when you fire your missile, it'll target that specific enemy, and those are pretty fun. And then there's another one, but honestly, the upgrades right now, like they were put in way in the beginning, and I'm really looking forward to putting a lot more of that stuff in.
Yeah, because I would like a traditional like TIE fighter pew pew laser.
Sure,
would be nice to have. The other thing about, because since you mentioned missiles, right, is a question about missiles. So I go into this pirate base and I'm killing dudes, and they've got like health pills laying around, and then the loot, it looks like missiles.
Yeah,
and then I get on the ship and I've only got like 6 missiles in my inventory. So it's like I picked up 100 missiles. Where did they go?
You can fire, those are rockets, and those you fire from your blaster. So if you hold down the right mouse button, it goes to like rocket mode or whatever, and so you can fire those in first person mode.
Oh, okay. So that's gotcha.
Yeah,
that's
sorry,
what's
I was gonna say you find missile ammo for your ship in crates on planets and asteroids, but those little rockets you find in the Xeno bases, that's for your blasters.
Right. Yeah.
So that's
okay.
a little different.
So it's almost like grenades, sort of.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of those also where I'm really looking forward to like updating the controls a little bit as I add more like RPG features and more weapons. Right now it's a little bit janky. You didn't know that you had like a rocket launcher essentially. Like that's definitely a failure. So I'm looking forward to making all that stuff a little more obvious.
Yeah, I think like the Doom method of it is like, hey, when you pick it up, it switches to it the first time, and then you're aware you got.
Oh,
yeah, because right now it's just a separate. It's like a alt fire mode, but I think you
probably have to change the model or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's going to be just a whole different weapon at some point.
Oh, all right. So a different rocket launcher instead of
Yeah, probably. Okay. I'm not totally sure, or at least a separate like a mode that you'll switch to, but it'll be also where you can switch to, because at some point I'll have more weapons in. I'll have like a laser in, and plasma sword or whatever. So there will be other types of weapons. So at some point there'll be like a more obvious way to switch.
Right.
Just a quick thing to mention on the store page. I would say somewhere on that page, put a link to your roadmap.
Right.
That way there's a direct link to the roadmap and people can check that before they buy the.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those things. The other thing about Steam is, like, I welcome all suggestions for, store page tweaks, because that's so important. But it's funny how it really does feel with Steam like it's more of a, it feels like it's driven by their algorithms and driven by just the number of games more than anything else. Yeah, I mean, there was sort of a famous, in the game dev world, change that they made in October that hurt a lot of indies. And it was kind of amazing to see, like, I can see the effect on my sales from decisions that they make a lot more than I see the effect of my own decisions.
What did they change? What did they change?
They changed an algorithm for which games they put on their front page and how they show games to people. I don't know exactly what the changes were, but a lot of indies are complaining about it because they saw a big hit. So that's the kind of thing. It's like it's a little weird, It's like I'll do all of these things to my page and then it doesn't do anything, but then Valve will make a choice and it makes a big difference. So it's kind of a weird ecosystem part of right now.
Yeah, you don't often put the game on sale either, do you?
No, I just did it for the first time. And I have to say that made a big difference. I think, again, just having it be like on the sale page on Steam, just being more visible to more people that way, I think makes a big difference. So
yeah,
because I've seen where people just put their game like 10% off, of like a $10 game or whatever, so it drops it by $1 just to get the bounce,
right?
Back to the front page kind of.
Yeah, because people like me, they go to the Reddit.
It also helps with
but they also people like me go to the Reddit game deal subreddit and they go to like, is there any deal, and like, oh, this is on sale now. Let's go check this out. So
yeah, wish list can be sorted by whether or not something is on sale. So you can use that filter, and if you have it on your wish list already, it'll show the discount and everything right there.
Right.
So yeah, but it's we feel for you, man.
I mean, I'm happy overall. Super good to me, and I'm definitely like super lucky to be in the position I'm in. Very happy with like everything. So yeah, I don't know of very many game devs that have sort of done kind of exactly the thing that I've done in the way that I've done it. So I feel just super lucky.
It's
a real blessing.
Do you still sell the game through your site as well, like a DRM free version? On your
yeah,
site
I do, and that one comes with there's sort of different. I still do it because it's a pay what you want model. So there are different tiers, and you can get it a little cheaper if you only want the current update, or you can spend a little extra if you want your name in the credits or something like that. But that's it's a tiny fraction of most sales come from Steam for sure. It's also up on itch now, itch.io.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
But yeah, and they're a great little store. But again, same thing. Steam is just so big.
I know we're all big fans of itch, but yeah, Steam is the 90-pound gorilla in the little tiny in the 2-pound bag, basically.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I'm really glad to hear
it's only 30,000 games. You can find something you like.
Yeah,
if you can find it.
Oh, here's it.
Yeah, but I mean,
sorry, good.
I wouldn't be here if it weren't for Steam. So I'm glad it's out there for sure.
Some kind of I can't Kequalizer on YouTube. I don't know how to say that. He or she says weekly updates on what you're working on would be good to let players know what's going on, even if there are no updates.
Yeah, I've thought about that. I've also thought doing like quick videos, like a weekly video update would probably be a good idea.
Do a dev stream. Yeah. People love those. People love those.
Oh, I can't do that. I'm way too disorganized to do that. That's like my nightmare to work on a dev stream.
Have you ever watched one of our videos? Oh my God.
Yeah. I don't think my dev stream would be like me programming for half an hour and then being on Twitter while being on YouTube. And the dev stream would last 14 hours, but I'd only be working for 9 of them. It'd just be a mess. Yeah, dev streams at 4 a.m. Yeah, I don't know.
People would watch it. You'd be surprised. Yeah. People would freaking watch it. They would tune in. People love dev streams. But like little videos of what you've worked on this week, even if you worked on making this Xeno look a little better, that would probably be good.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like I'm always looking for ways to make it for a while I was doing regular dev updates of the game itself. So whatever I was working on, it was maybe every couple of weeks I would put up a dev version so you could see it, and it was kind of broken, but that was fun. But it just got hard to keep up with. But I like that idea of you got to have something new all the time to keep people's attention. So yeah, things like that are definitely things I'd consider.
Yeah, once a month seems like a good.
Yeah, that also seems reasonable. Yeah, because you're working on the game.
I've seen others do that pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of devs do this is what we did in January, and that's great. And that also goes along with if you have a new patch, here's what's in the new patch. Totally. Nothing pisses me off more. Well, okay, there are things that piss me off more, but it's annoying when you see a game had a patch. I wonder. And there's no update. There's nothing that tells you what's in the patch. It's come on.
Oh yeah.
Come on, man.
No, I always put my change list in there. It's you gotta let people know what you did.
Exactly.
Well, it's tough too because it's funny because to me, Rodina is this huge big thing. It's it's the most important thing I got going on, and it's I've been working on it for 7 years now or something like that, and it just feels like this enormous epic thing, but to somebody's strolling around, it's just another game that popped by. And so it's a little bit hard to square the idea that you actually need to communicate with people. You just think, oh well, they'll just know, everybody's following it. It's easy to sort of retreat to your hole.
It's totally different when it's your baby.
Yeah,
because getting updates out there and making sure that people can read them, it will definitely help.
Oh yeah.
But then again, sometimes you find people who just never read patch notes. They just say, "Oh, the game's updated. Okay, let's play it now."
Totally.
Yeah, I'm one of those people who every day I come home from work, what did Steam update today? Oh, there's like 4 games that updated. Ooh, I wonder what's in them. I'm gonna play it and find out. So
yeah, sometimes if I update the game, but I take a while to announce, be like, I saw 100 megabytes come down. What changed? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
They just know it.
I need to know. Yeah. Oh my God, you changed something. I'm so excited. It's like Christmas. Yeah. It's like Christmas. Oh God, we got to wrap up. It's almost been 2 hours. Damn, that was a great chat. So, folks.
Hey man, thanks again for having me.
Of course. Sorry we didn't have you back sooner, but I'm really glad I thought of asking you back. So, folks, again, the game is Rodina. It's not very expensive, and it has a demo. I mean, play the demo. If you like the demo, buy the damn thing. Because, I mean, there's like No Man's Sky and all that garbage, but I mean, this is different, and I like this better than No Man's Sky, to be honest, because I don't like survival stuff. So, I mean, for me, it works. I'll
have to put that on my Steam page now. Brian Rubin. I like this better than No Man's Sky.
You know what? You could totally put that on your Steam page, Space Game Junkie. You can quote me on that.
I don't need your permission, Brian. It just happened in public. I'm going to do it.
There's evidence.
Damn.
That's it. It's on the record.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, again, guys, the game is Rodina, and it is great. Don't freak out that it's been in early access a long time. Like if you've listened to this at all, you can tell that Brendan is very passionate about the project. He works on it full time. If you go to the Steam page and look at the news, you'll see there's numerous updates fairly regularly about new patches, new hotfixes, new polls asking the community for what's the next thing he should work on. So even though it's been early access for a while, this is actually a really good example of early access, I think. So yeah, the game is Rodina. Definitely check it out. So just a couple quick programming notes. There is no stream on Thursday because it's Valentine's Day. So we're taking that night off. But next Tuesday on the podcast, we're very excited to have for the first time the developer of Star Sector. If you're a space game fan, you don't know what Star Sector is. Shame on you. But if you don't know,
Star Sector... what's Star Sector?
It's been called Mountain Blade in space. That is probably the quickest description I've heard of it. It's basically an open-ended space trading, exploration, and combat game with tactical real-time space combat. And it's been in early access even longer than Rodina. I bought a copy of it even before I started Space Game Junkie in 2011. So it's been in early access a long time.
Sounds cool, though.
But it's very cool. It's very, very cool. It's just an impressive piece of software, and it just keeps adding to it. Like now you can found colonies, apparently. So there's all kinds of stuff you can do. So we're very excited about that. So yeah, Brendan, thank you so much for coming on again and talking to us.
Thank you for having me. It's been a blast.
And a final thank you to our Patreon subscribers. Keep an eye out on Patreon, folks. It's patreon.com/SpaceGameJunkie. I'm going to be refreshing it in the next probably couple of weeks with some new tiers, which will get you stickers and more things to do with Space Game Junkie, like suggest podcast topics or games of the week, that sort of thing. So we're definitely going to be making the Patreon a lot more involved and engaging, which has been my fault that it hasn't been.
And then there's the Teespring store as well.
Yes, that's true. Thank you, Spaz. We have a new Teespring store. We just launched that about a week or two ago. So if you've been really wanting a Space Game Junkie tote bag, so you can feel like you're an NPR subscriber, you can totally do that. But there's also mouse pads and T-shirts and all sorts of things. So that is great. So thank you, everyone, for listening and subscribing and doing all that stuff. And we will see you back here in a week. Have a great weekend and Valentine's Day and everything, folks. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.